Hey everyone, we're back. We are module 4. It is the halfway point for the 8 weeks of tutorials for the Sunrise Oracle. It's Rashitza, and thank you for joining me. I'm so glad that you're here. What are we going to look at? First of all, I need to say, I really want you to hone in on your meditation practice. There's some way of grounding yourself, centering yourself, getting yourself ready, removing yourself from the day's events, and getting yourself ready for the magic of pulling cards. This is an excellent way of self care and self love. You take yourself out. Um, this is really important, and I just had to say it because, I had to. All right. So, what are we going to look at? We're going to look at some basic card spreads for beginners and explore simple card spreads for personal reflection and intuitive growth. And what are we going to look at? Single card pulls for daily guidance, what that means, what you should be looking at. This is also in your guidebook for the deck. 3 card spreads, what that is about. Spreads focusing on specific questions or areas of your life. We'll look at those and how to frame your questions to get the best of insights. And that's what you're really looking for, is getting that insight. That's that intuitive muscle we're building. Quick and easy. So again, I cannot reiterate how important it is to get you into the frame of being ready to do card pulls. Okay, single card pulls, because I want to bring this under an hour because I know that everyone's so busy in that, but you might be very interested in still seeing this recording. So, single card pulls for daily guidance. Using one card for guidance involves drawing just one card from the deck and interpreting its message to gain insights and clarity and guidance on the specific question or situation. It's a time to pause, reflect, and really sit into what message you are receiving. This is the time when you do that one card pull that you take note of what pops in your head. Write it down. What are you feeling? What are your thoughts? Did you see something, in your mind's eye? Was it a color? Was it a word? Was it a past experience? Whatever pops up is really important for you to write those first impressions down. The one card pull, or the single card, actually isn't what I consider an anchor card, and it keeps you rooted and present in the reading. And I will actually, as I'm doing reads, I will actually just go like this, and I will sit there and say, okay, here is the one card. And it's so funny. This card is capable. I don't know if you can see it very well. My camera's way over there, but capable. And I was just in some businesses today selling my decks to local businesses, and so now the Oracle card deck, Sunrise Oracle, is in 2 stores, kind of local to where I am situated. So the thing is, capable makes sense because I look at what I was doing, what I was planning, how I want to take the next step. So all of a sudden, when I look at that word, for me, this adjusts to, as an anchor card, my day's reflection today. What were the insights that I gained? So when I was talking to store owners, I gained a lot of insights about, my approach, how I am communicating, what my vision is for the future of my business, those kind of things. So it's really a great card. So that card in itself is your anchor card, what I call an anchor card for the day. So pull your first card and write down all those things that come up. And maybe it is the end of the day you want to do this, or in the morning to set you up and reframe your day, or in the evening to reflect back on what's transpired. It's a great way of getting to know yourself and empowering you. Remember, this deck is all about emotional empowerment, high vibration. So, that is the single card. This is in the guidebook, I think like page 22 or 24. So you can read that there. Let's talk about 3 card spreads. So, in the 3 card spread, There's 4 things that I'm gonna ask that you start looking at. So, I know I've told you just to do daily pulls, but I know that you're probably already wanting to, just like I did, kind of explore this aspect of doing more than 1 card. I don't suggest 2, I suggest 3. And what you wanna look for are 4 things that we'll go into: symmetry, repetition, harmony, and contradictions. Here, you're wanting to see a story unfold from your cards. So we have my very first card. We haven't decided what spread we're going to do, but let's take a look at capable being the very first card and what's going to come out of that as we go through this. Okay. When we're looking for symmetry, we are looking at a very, not a very, but a greater, deeper interpretation, and you want to uncover subtle insights. So symmetry, what you want to look at is when you look at the 3 cards in a row, you want to look at visual balance because the sunrise is such a unique deck. The image is the same, but the thing is, are you seeing the symmetry of it? So when you look at the first card, is there a color that pops out more than the second card? And then the second card, does another color pop out? And does another color pop out? So look at the visual balance of it. Look at any patterns of the color imagery or symbolism that mirror each other. And so you'll see that with readers, they'll say, oh, look at this yellow. There's this yellow stream following through in your reading. This is what this means. So you'll want to look at that. This could, indicate an alignment or stability in the subject's life. So, like your life, this could mean that there's or opposing forces that are working together harmoniously. There might be some kind of connectivity. The next thing you want to look at is positioning. Positioning, if it's the first and third card, will reflect themes or energies, and it may actually suggest that past influences are affecting future outcomes in a cycle or in a balanced manner. The middle card often serves as a pivotal point or fulcrum balancing those two forces. So if your positioning card is the very first or the third, it's different. But if it's the middle, like I have here, we're saying it serves as a pivotal point. And I generally use the positioning when I'm looking at it. So I look at like visual balance and then I look at positioning of the 3 cards. How is it demonstrating what's happening? And that's how the story starts to unfold. So as a middle, it's a pivot point or a fulcrum, and it does balance. And that's what I actually look at. When we look at flow, this is a symmetrical spread, and it could indicate that there's a period of equilibrium of the energies or the events are coming to a full circle. It's a time to maintain the course or embrace balance. So that's really interesting. So I was just pulling out cards trying to show symmetry. So this is very much a card read of these, 3 cards: trust, timing, and stability. You can see that there's a flow there. Let's look at contradictions. Okay, so for contradictions, you look at 3 other pieces to this. Opposing themes. Yeah, this takes work, guys. This takes work. So don't be discouraged. There's a lot of stuff that's coming at you. This is the time to take this video and really go through it slowly and practice your card spreads. So, what you want to look at is opposing themes, mixed energies, and dual perspectives. So, opposing themes are those contradictory messages between cards that can point to either like an internal, external conflict. And, like one card may suggest a certain action while another one encourages something else. And then they're just like there's this tension and there's no resolution. So, like you have weary and turbulence. Those could be very, very, weary is about lack, and turbulence is this stuff is percolating. So there also could be mixed energies. And I think it was a lot easier for me to demonstrate this with the middle card by saying hope. You have weary, you have turbulent, and then you have hope. So mixed energies is that one card can present a real positive outcome or another one can, be negative. And it suggests that the path forward may become difficult, have to make decisions, or you might be full of challenges. So those contradictions help to identify areas where, you're either stuck or uncertain. So it matters what the question was, but that was the best way that I could look at that. Let's look at dual perspectives. It's hard to demonstrate this visually. I'd like to kind of do it during a card read. So dual perspectives are those contradictions we could also indicate that you are torn between two options, perspectives, or approaches. And it invites you to explore both sides of the situation for a more nuanced understanding. Love it. So if you're weary and you have hope, that's a contradiction right there, I think. And then you have turbulent. So turbulence, that's when you start having to dig into that. So let's take a look at what the guidebook says about turbulence. So I'll just read it for you. So turbulence means unsteady or an adversity. So heart-centered awareness opens me to different potentials and possibilities. Okay, so you're weary, you have hope, but what do you got to do? So it's saying, okay, you know what? Are you having heart opened awareness to what potentials or possibilities there is? And the questions here will help you when you're doing your reading. Now ask these questions. How does turbulence or adversity impact my ability to maintain heart-centered awareness? Now, heart-centered awareness is knowing your alignment, how you are aligned to your values, beliefs, paths, all those kind of things. So maybe there's a situation where it's difficult. Maybe communication is key, and you're sitting going, how does this ability to maintain heart-centered awareness? Well, heart-centered awareness is compassion and love, and we all have to know this, and we all have to learn this. So am I actually demonstrating compassion and love in this situation involving miscommunication with this person? I'm really tired of it. I have high hopes, yet it's really turbulent. And the other question to ask is, how do I discern between potentials and possibilities that are going to resonate more deeply with my heart-centered awareness? Love that question. Now you got to go to discernment. What does discernment mean? Discernment is all about looking at distinctions. Is your head and your heart combined? Are they connected? Are you rooted? So that's really the contradictions that can come out of a read. So let's just choose a card and see what happens. Okay. It says awe. Now that's interesting. So I've anchored my card. Now I have capable, and then awe is my second. That seems to me a bit of a contradiction. Am I supposed to be in awe of myself? Am I supposed to be, what does this mean? So let's take a look at what awe means. And it means, this is great. This now makes a lot of sense. Radiating the interconnectedness of all that is life. So am I expanding my horizons? Am I connecting with others? So I'm capable. Now I have an understanding about that. It's not so much of a contradiction, actually. This is more of a symmetry read now. See how that can change with the cards? I know this is quick, but just try to take this in, and don't worry, it just takes time to allow for the spread to be interpreted singularly, like we did both cards, and then together. Okay, don't get discouraged. But let's move on to the next component that you want to look at when you're looking at the 3-card spread. Repetitions. Now I'm going to tell you about repetitions. I'd call out Baron Reed's one card deck, which is my general card deck read that I use as well. It's Wodo, Wisdom of the Oracle. It is a profound cutthroat deck. Just it's very interesting, to tell you the truth. And repetition wise, I kept pulling spiral. That means you keep going down the same rabbit hole. That's what my interpretation was all the time, for the whole situation, for every situation. It frustrated me. This was months. I'd be doing well in my card reads. I'd pull it up, and all of a sudden I'd get that spiral. And that was like that contradiction. What was I needing to be aware of? What it was I keep repeating. So here you want to look at reoccurring themes. What are similar, symbols or things that are coming, or insights that you keep getting? What is appearing on the spread? Is it the same words that are coming up? This really emphasized the significance, the importance of taking note of that. So maybe it's the color. Maybe blue keeps popping up for you. Blue is your throat chakra. It's about communication. Maybe blue means something else. Maybe it means healing light for you. It is about you really understand the reoccurring archetypes, strength, love, transformation, whatever this is, words, colors. It suggests that there's a particular lesson or a message that is really vital for you to pay attention to. And my gosh, just pay attention to it. And by working through it, you'll gain so much insight and perspective. And I always love that. I really believe in perspective, change of perspective. How about reinforcement? That repetition can also be reinforcing certain energies, and that suggests that there are dominant forces that are in your life that are present. And multiple cards of this can feature, water elements. Like I said, it could also be blue, could be water for you. And the reading might be more of an emotional depth for you, or a need for your intuition and fluidity. Like there's so much. So, like, let's say you pull up that card and it reinforces the fact, you need to speak up for yourself, or you need to be, your emotional side is strengthening, or there's something that you need to be able to communicate emotionally. If you keep seeing that color blue, like there's so much here. So it's really important. When you're doing card readings, it is about you looking at all of these aspects and pulling it together to be able to provide a story for yourself about what is transpiring. It takes work. I mean, the thing is, like I said, I Reiki master and healing touch level 3 student. And then I forgot, I'm a Moon IK. I've completed all my 9 levels of that. Just to talk about that, my drum work, I've, studied aromatherapy and color therapy. And I mean, there's just energy work, and you read and you keep gaining a repertoire so that it expands on your card reading. Okay. Let's look at echoing ideas. So, if two or more of the cards express the same concept but are in different ways, it highlights that you need to focus on this area for personal growth or resolution. The universe is saying, spirit is saying, listen, it's a message for clarity. Like, we really want you to pay attention to this. So, if you look at it, we look at, a recurring theme is about setting up a boundary. Reinforcement is that you're embracing this and then you're nurturing yourself to do this. I wonder if, yeah, echoing is spelled right. It just didn't look at it. So that's so cool when you start seeing that. The very fourth component that you want to do, and then I'm going to pull a card on this, is harmony. Oh my gosh. This is when you get those messages and there's just this beautiful, abundant flow of information, and it just aligns to everything. You can feel it in your heart, in your head, in your body. You know that it's right. You just know, like you pull it and you're like, bingo. And when we're looking at harmony, let's look at three components there. We want to look at a unified message. So that is when all the cards seem to be working together and they're telling you this cohesive, lovely story. And it suggests a smooth transition from one phase to another. Energies are aligned, everything's moving in the same direction. Pretty freaking cool. So that's important. The second thing that you want to look at is the flow of energy. Harmony indicates that the curtain path is going to be naturally come in front of you, and there's no friction or major resistance for you. It's a sign of support. So, and you being encouraged to move forward. And you'll see that with readers, they'll go through colors and all this stuff and the words, and then they'll say, oh, you know what? It's working. Or you might have this little detour. And that's what they are doing. Oh, the card just wanted to come out. So we'll pull that one and we'll look at that. And then the third one is complementary energies. And you know what? When even with the cards are, even if the cards are not identical, but they're complementary, a card with action followed by one about rest could suggest a healthy balance between effort and recuperation, or to do or to and then rest. I mean, we're all like that. So that's Really great. So I'm going to tell you right now, I am receiving a harmony, really strong harmony reading. So the very last card was engage. So I told you that I had talked with someone, I had an intuitive consultation yesterday, and then I was talking with store owners today, and capable came up for me as my first card, to be in awe. And we talked about how can I cultivate a practice in my daily life to deepen my sense of connection with others. So it's important that I maintain a connection with others. And then the third card is engage. That is telling in itself, that I need to continue to be with others. And I'm just going to read from, if you want to, you go to the guidebook and take a look. And it says this. Wow, this is kind of great. By engaging, it's a healthy approach for me to continue with the connection that I've established. So engage means to awaken senses and appreciation, and my spirit is invigorated, fulfilling all aspects of my life. So as you can see, there was a couple of things there of me having interconnectedness. What is building within me? What are my values, beliefs, and path forward need to be in alignment? And how am I nurturing this sense of who I am? And how do I fulfill this in all of the dimensions of my life? That's the story that is being told here. I mean, that's brief. I need to write on that a little bit more. So we'll put these cards away. And there you go, looking at those four aspects and then diving into deeper what they actually mean. So you need to pay close attention to the nuances of the three card spread and not just interpret them individually, but understand the relationship that's between them. It really allows for a more holistic reading for yourself, where the story unfolds and it reflects the layers and complexities of your life or the question. And it's the choice is yours. I always like, looking at that one word, kind of figuring it out a little bit. But once you get that second and third card, then there is this magic that transpires where all of a sudden it's more fulfilling for me. And there's more to this card reading. The other thing that I just noticed is that there is a difference in the tone of the cards on one edge, and one's more blue. So incapable, that would be more for communication for myself, and the rest are green. So that in itself tells me capable is like that action word, where awe and engage is more heart-centered, focused. So that's that green that I'm seeing for some reason. So see, there's a lot to be with it. The other thing I wanted to say is there is numerology that's related to all of this, and you'll see it in the guidebook. Now, this is something that I just am going to look up. So I go to Sacred Scribes, and it's the only numerology person that I follow is Joanne. And on the page that the word is, every page is numbered. Take a look at that number on that page and see what it means. So let's take a look at, just pull it up. So my last card, engage. What does the number 63 mean? That's on page 63. So Joanne, it is Joanne from Sacred Scribes. She is fantastic. I've, supported her page and everything because I really believe in what she's doing, and it's amazing. So I'm just going to read this. Okay, so angel number 63 is a combination of vibrations of the number 6 and the number 3. And number 6 brings in attributes of the momentary and material aspects of life, providing and provision, balance and love of home, family, grace, dignity, simplicity, reliability, responsibility, and the ability to compromise. Okay, engagement, interconnectedness. You're going to need all that stuff to do that. The number 3 adds its energies of manifesting prosperity and abundance, self-expression and communication, support and encouragement, talents, skills, enthusiasm, and joy. And then the number 3 resonates with the energies of the ascended masters, and they help you focus on the divine spark within yourself and others and assist with manifesting your desires. And then it goes a lot more into detail. Look at the card engage. You cannot make that up. It is definitely related to that angel number and this card. And so that's the other thing I would do is I would look at the number, the numerology, and I would go more into depth. So you know what? I do know with the changes and I guess Mercury retrograde and Mars is here and all that, communication is going to be so key for all of us. And we can get a little bit heated or irritated and stuff like that. So I now know for the next couple of weeks or however, I'll have to look at the astrology site when I'm wanting to manifest my desires, what direction I want to go, what aligns with my values, beliefs, purpose, who I am as a person. These are the things that I need balance in and need to consider. So that is, in a nutshell, a little bit about how you would do those readings. Let's look at 3-card spreads. So I'm going to give you 3 examples here just so that you have something you can start working on. I'm going to be working on a document so that I can put up on my website under the card decks or in the Reciprocity Hub of different types of spreads, but you can look online. But let's just do some very basic ones. So let's take a look at, and I know every single person here has heard this, the past, present, and future. Okay, so this card spread has a purpose. You need to know why you're asking what you're asking. And its purpose is to gain clarity on how the past has influenced the present and the future. Okay, so your very first card is your past influence or the events that are affecting the current situation. And then the second one is card number 2 is present situation or energy, like what is currently there. I was like the energy, present situation will come up, but mostly the energy surrounding it. And then the third one is future outcomes or what to expect moving forward. So when you're doing that, you'll want to just be in a great grounded spot. And let's just pick these 3 from the very top. And let's look at the past influence is the card dependable. That is so me. I can tell you right now, you can always depend on me. You give me something and I'll do it. You can count on me no matter what. And then the second card is repetition. So we know this is cyclical, that, that I will continue to do those kind of things no matter what. And present situation or energy, this is the energy, is that, repetition. So that makes me wonder, what does it say in the book when we look at repetition? And that is, I do like to read from my notes. So it's revisit, learn, and then move on. That's interesting. So here I am, Miss Dependable, and I keep doing the same things. So, am I moving forward or am I just kind of getting into this dependable mode because it feels comfortable? Very interesting. And then the third card is to give. And so when you are given a third card like that, this to me is a very insightful, because giving means that I'm going to expand and radiate, not necessarily give everything I have, but cultivate a spirit of myself to enrich my life and life of others. Remember that I had been talking about the fact of what I want to be doing, and that my intuitive consultation yesterday, which was phenomenal, was leading to like teaching and doing other things in my spiritual business. So that to me is a validation of, Miss Dependable, give it up, because you've got lots to give and gain by focusing your efforts. Okay, so that's that one. So let's take a look at another example. Here we have mind, body, spirit. Okay, so what's the purpose of the mind, body, and spirit? This is to explore the balance between your mental, physical, and spiritual well-being. Huge, because emotional empowerment comes out of this. So let's just see. And again, we're going to take the top 3. You saw me do it. Okay. So for my mental state or thoughts that are influencing card number 1, my mind, is appreciate. So that already I can tell you right now is about, excuse me, gratitude. And gratitude does not necessarily mean, oh, I'm grateful for the leaves that have, gone down on the ground. Yeah, of course I'm grateful for that. But gratitude, and I learned this from Tosha Silver, phenomenal. I did a 6 or 8 week course with her on gratitude. And gratitude is internalizing that where it pours out of you. So it's funny, today I was thinking how grateful I am of, you know, this, my present situation in my life and where I'm at. And, my husband and I went for a walk and it was so beautiful. And I was grateful for the fact that my body was working. Those who know me know I had a bit of a health scare. So that is something that I embody when I look at that word appreciate, when I'm looking at my mental state. Those are the thoughts that are influencing the situation. Okay, number 2 is my body. Oh, okay, very cool. I got believe. So that's my physical condition or actions that need to be taken. So you might think, okay, how does it believe make any sense to this? Is there a disconnect? What kind of reading is this? So when we look at believed, it's about I radiate the trust that I am supported and guided towards my highest purpose. That. So I had an interesting conversation with the store owner, and she was talking about her girlfriend who has now moved on to doing something different in her spiritual business. And she removed the weight of energy that she was carrying, and it physically dissipated from her body. And I actually was thinking about that during my walk, is that I no longer am going to carry the weight of energy of others on my person. Very fascinating. So that to me is a validation card. And let's look at number 3. That is the spiritual energy or guidance for growth and alignment. And it is, regard. Really interesting. So this is a bit like, contradictions and harmony, swooped in together. So, okay. Expand your true nature and purpose and goals. So I need to regard what spiritual energy or guidance for growth and alignment. So I align with my purpose and embrace my goals with unwavering determination and joy. Now, I may have shared that I was looking at writing a book and I have like 300 pages and it's really been a struggle. And then with my intuitive consultant yesterday, she provided me a little strategy. And last night I wrote my one page and it was quite effortless. There was no ego sticking in there, even though I was, typing away and it was, spelling mistakes or whatever, but I didn't chastise myself and I didn't go back on myself. So, you know what? This is again a validation of my mind, body, and spirit are coming together. There is this cohesiveness of that. So that's what that is telling me right there. Oh, that's so cool. All right. So the personal inquiry question, if you're wondering for regard on page 83. So 83 is an 11 number. It comes down to 11, or you can look up 83. Pretty cool. Is how can I integrate daily practices that resonate with my purpose and propel me towards my goals? So I was given some strategies that I have to work on, and today I picked up those items to assist me in doing that. So I have those in my toolbox. And so this is a definite validation read for me today. Okay, so the last one, and this I find comes up with a lot of readings, and it is situation obstacle advice. And again, purpose. You need to know the purpose of your reads. And this one is get clarity on the current issue, the challenge, and the best course of action. And so let's see what happens here. And I'm just giving you an example. Let's just pull the first 1, 2, 3. Okay, so the very first one, okay, card 1 is believe. So we've had that before, so we already know what that one. So that's the current situation is belief. And card 2 is the obstacle or challenging block some kind of that's blocking the progress, trust. That makes sense. I'm learning a new process, so my obstacle is trusting in that, in myself, and like the challenges that I might face. And our heads are spinning sometimes, or we overthink some things. So let's just see what trust is saying. Oh, I love that when spirit does this. Oh, it says intuitive strength. So my intuitive strength resonates to illuminate my path with clarity, wisdom, and purpose. So that to me is saying, you know what, this is something I need to work on. Is I'm going to have to always come back to clarity, purpose. What's the direction I'm going to go? How does this align? So that's a great one. I won't be putting this away. I'm going to keep these out because that is something I can write on, for today in my reflective practice. And then the third card is advice, and it says sensitive. So that's, how can I overcome, what's going on? And so sensitive is about attuning yourself to your heightened awareness. Remember, bringing yourself into that high vibrational state. And then there's another component, and it says profound wisdom. And that's true. And there is wisdom related to trust as well. So I illuminate my path with clarity and insight. And I distinguish between temporary distractions and genuine insights that can guide me forward. Okay, so this is what I'm supposed to be learning right now regarding my current situation. And so I think that's amazing. Like I said, I'm going to keep that out because it's really important. So when we're looking at these three card spreads, I just want you to know that you can put so many things yourself. Look on the internet. There's so many out there to choose from. But I do want to give you some caution that you need to customize yourself to the card spreads, what you're supposed to be looking at, harmony, repetition, contradictions, all that stuff, that flow, the colors, the numerology. There's so much coming out of understanding what a reading says that I would say focus on one spread, do it daily for a week, become, you know, in tune to what it's saying to you, not attuned, but in tune to how it's supposed to work. That way you understand what it is, and you won't become flustered or frustrated and say, oh, I'm going to use another, after your first read, I'm going to use another spread. Take the time to learn and know what these spreads mean before you move on to another one. It's just will help you in the long term. And then, remember that by paying attention to the three cards, you're going to get these nuances and to interpret them, not so frantically individually, but as a story. You're going to have to learn the cards, and then you're going to have to see what they're saying together. For me, I'm getting validation, and you will too. You'll get those insights. They will come, and the story is going to unfold, and it's going to reflect a lot of the layers and complexities of your life or your question. And so, yeah, I think that's pretty good, cool. So focus on those three. I want to say this. You need to really trust in the message that you receive. There may be some resistance. It's always good that when you have resistance as to what's being pulled, to sit down and write why you're resisting this. It could be related to the fact that it wasn't the word that you wanted. And I get those with readings. I'm going to tell you, there's people who are like, nope, not for me. And yeah, it is for you. It is your time to take this. It's not about validating you at that, you know, time of resistance. It is about you opening yourself up to receiving the message that is meant for you. So trust in them. Get that intuitive muscle working. The more that you pull and write down your impressions journal, you build that intuitive connection more and more and more. So, how to frame your question. Oh my gosh, there is so many different ways to frame questions. And so there's a lot here. I'm just going to read it out because this is as well something that you need to work on. And I actually do have something that can help you if you're interested. And I'll get to that in the next slide. But the thing is, these are the components of what you require to frame your question. You need to be clear and specific. You need to focus on yourself. A lot of people I do reads for are asking for someone else, and I really discourage this. It's not something I will do. I'm always about focusing on yourself because you are empowering yourself. You need to consider time frames, ask open-ended questions, use how, what, or why, frame questions for growth or insight, something that is such a great, easy read. And we won't put those cards in. Oh, but we'll say, what is it that I need to know? One card today. And dependable. So that's coming out again. So I better put that aside here and make it a 4-card spread. That'll be my anchor card, obviously. And say, okay, but you can ask, that was just to show you how to ask that question. What do I need to know for my highest good regarding blah, right? Frame questions for growth and insight, huge part of what to do. Emphasize empowerment and choice. We all have choices. Your free will is going to change the direction of what happens after you have your card reading. It's all up to you. You can choose to ignore it. You can choose to embrace it. You can choose to do whatever you want. It's your free will. So anytime that you have a card reading, things can change a minute afterwards because you've made a certain choice. Avoid loaded or fear-based questions. Like, I get that a lot as well when people are in a vulnerable state. So I really try to switch the question over. You can ask about the energies around a situation, which we showed you in the 1-card spread. And you can reflect on your life's journey. I have found that sometimes if I don't have a specific question, I just say, Spirit, what does I need to know? What do I need to bring to light today? Okay. Now, I'm just saying that when you frame your question a certain way, you create a strong foundation for insight, empowerment, readings that offer meaningful growth, guidance, that kind of stuff. And it's important to take it's important step that you shape the depth and clarity of your reading. And here are some things that I should have actually read out, wrong slide notes, but you can say, for what question, if you're looking at your career, that can be anything, what steps can I take to find success in my career? If you want to look at relationships, you can say, what can I do to improve my relationships? Or instead of saying, is my relationship going to end? Because that's a fear-based question, and you're already determining that, and the ending is a possibility. There's a potential for that. So what you want to do is open that up and allow for exploration. You want to focus on, if you want to ask about someone else, why is my partner not communicating with me? You can ask, how can I improve communication with my partner? See the difference? So the cards are a tool for self-awareness and personal growth. So it's better to focus on what you can control or change, but what is related to you. You can focus on what's related to you. What can you choose to do? Like I said, another one that's easy, what lesson can I learn from this situation? That is your growth and potential. You can focus on, what you need to learn for positive action or personal empowerment. Let's do something like that. What is it that I need to embrace right now as a positive action in my spiritual business? Now I'm kind of nervous to tell you the truth. Let's see. Let's just see. Okay. The card is bright. There is brightness there. So that is me shining who I am. That's what that card means. So that's really key. Do you see what I mean? How you you remove that, fear-based questions, and you go more into emphasizing empowerment and choice. I mean, that's how I go. So frame them in a way you create that strong foundation, empower yourself, make your choices. Now, to help you, I do have, and you can see it right here. It's called Cosmic Quest. It's a 101 cards, and it was pretty cool that this came to me. I actually started this like 2.5 years ago and didn't have a platform, and now it's on Deckable. It's available on Deckable for download electronically. There are 11 different categories: relationships, spiritual, career. Of course, they've all lost, gone away. But the thing is, you can use Cosmic Quest as a tool and say, okay, you know what? I think there's like 10 or 11 questions per category, or 101, somewhere around there. And you can say, I want to talk about my career, and then just go into the career aspect, and they're all color coded, and then just say, what is it that I need to know? And then you can just pull a card there and it'll frame your question for you. And then you can do your reading. And the other thing is, like, there's personal development, communication, relationships. Like, there's a whole bunch. And it's a great way, when you're not certain of how to ask these questions, a way for you to start your card reading with these type of questions. So you can find me on Deckable, and there's the QR code. You just look under Cosmic Quest 101 questions. That was kind of fun to do, to tell you the truth, once I found out how to get it to this state and get it published. It's not in print form. I'm thinking about that. I don't know if I'll do that, but certainly it is available electronically for you on Deckable. And so, what are you going to leave with? What's your last bit that you need to think about? And that is, practice meditation for grounding and clearing your energy. Practice the 3 card spread and interpret the messages. Pick one that you want out of the 3, or find one and then practice it for the next week. And do your daily card pull for a week and track your patterns. Then when you come at the end of the week, whatever day that is for you, you can actually look at and say, oh, this is what's transpiring. So I will leave you there. We're under, if I finish, 47 minutes. So the very best, you take care, and blessings and love and light to each and every one of you. Take care. Bye.